this is David Stark from WatcherPass.com, your website for movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Today, I'm joined by Andrew Thomas Hunt, the director of Spare Parts, which is releasing on VOD, digital, and DVD and Blu-ray on June 1st, 2021. We're going to talk to Andrew in just a second, but first, let's check out the trailer. And while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. It helps me out a lot. Thank you.
A long way from home, aren't you?
Just trying to get our name out there, man.
You're gonna get your name out there. I got a feeling you're gonna be filling arenas soon.
What have you done to me?
It's okay. You've been chosen.
Chosen?
To appease the gods.
Ladies, every day is a sunshine day.
If you want to survive, it's gonna take a lot of work.
What if I choose death instead?
You're not ready to die, so fight for your life. And let's have some fun.
Hey, Andrew.
How you doing, man?
Doing well. How are you?
Zero complaints from me.
That's fantastic. That's great to hear. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Andrew Thomas Hunt, the director of Spare Parts, which is releasing on digital, VOD, DVD, and Blu-ray on June 1st, 2021. That's a nice setup. I like. Looks. Hey, is that? It looks like I expected more of like a rock kind of crazy vibe behind you, though.
Oh, well, I'm in my kitchen. Actually, I made like a tea, like I don't know how long ago, and forgot to like drink it. So. I thought maybe I'd have a moment before chatting with you, but I guess I don't. So, let's get into it.
If you want to take a moment to drink some tea, that's fine. We can wait. I like to get right in because I like the hello part, but no worries.
No, my tea can wait. At this point, it's having to be microwaved to be warmed up. So, it's not the best tea.
Hey, I'm
a bit of a tea purist.
If it has caffeine, that's all I care about, really.
Okay,
so.
Fair.
So awesome. So I guess the first question is, how did you find this film? It's kind of like a Mad Max kind of style, except without the cars, and well, I guess all the cars are broken down in this film. But how did you find this movie, and how did you get on this project?
Yeah, well, I'm a partner at a company called Raven Banner, and we're based here in Toronto. And we were at the Toronto International Film Festival one year, and this writer dude came up to me and pitched me a bunch of projects, and one of which was the Spare Parts. And I immediately dug the concept. And so I worked with him and his writing partner on, I attached myself as director and worked with them on kind of just finessing the script a little bit to kind of better fit my sensibilities. The girls were originally rock climbers, and we changed it from rock climbers to a rock band just because it had a great
change.
Yeah, it had it had a great punk ethos. You know what I mean? Like the fact that they could perform, that they could get into a bar fight, but then they've got the look. You know what I mean? Like these are girls who could handle themselves. Not like rock climbers couldn't, but it was just it suited this story better.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I imagine like rock climbers, they're climbing and then they get like kidnapped, which is kind of more of your traditional horror start. But I definitely liked the rock aesthetic of it, and I liked the music.
Yeah.
Like the music was the first thing I really noticed about this, and it sounds like maybe that was partly your doing as well.
Yeah, I was at South by Southwest, I guess a few years ago now, and saw the movie The Ranger, and the guys who did that happened to be Canadians. One of which is a guy by the name of Wade McNeil, who's in a band called Alexis on Fire, which is a well-known kind of Canadian rock band. And I just thought that they would be perfect for the film. And thankfully they came on board and created an amazing, soundtrack for it.
Yeah, the soundtrack was awesome. Like, and I liked that it started with them at a rock show, and then kind of you were able to kind of use that throughout. It made it like a really kind of it gave it a nice kind of driving beat throughout.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so the music was the first thing I noticed, and the next is this cast. This cast was awesome. I guess how did you find them? Did you cast one of the members first and then get the others around to make sure that the chemistry was there, or did they come as a group? I mean, I don't know, where did they come from? Where did the band come from?
Yeah, well, we basically held open auditions here in Toronto. We didn't have any specific actress in mind. And like this kind of a film where women are playing strong leads and they get to do their own fighting and look great. There's not a lot of them that they, like that. So we had hundreds of actresses audition for it, send in tapes and headshots. But these four, Michelle, Emily, Kiriana, and Chelsea, they quickly rose to the top of the pile. Because not only could they act, but they all came with like, they had stunt backgrounds or they had fight, training. And so, they were able to literally hit the ground running. Obviously we kind of paired them up. Emily and Kiriana, we did an audition with them where they were paired up together, and they immediately had that chemistry that we were looking for. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And you mentioned that they had stunt backgrounds, which is, needed for this show. Did they have any musical backgrounds? Did they play any instruments, or was that all movie magic?
Yes and no. Michelle had done a little bit of singing before. Emily had maybe learned how to play, had kind of sort of knew how to play guitar. Same with Kiriana, knew how to sort of play drums, but they then ended up taking some lessons in the months leading up to the film. And so that way, when we did the band performance, they were, Kiriana was playing the drums. Wade taught, Emily how to play the guitar riff. So yeah, we want to make it as authentic and realistic as possible.
Yeah, no, definitely. It definitely shines through. Like you can see that, I couldn't tell that they weren't playing, right? Like sometimes you can see that, actors just don't know what they're doing, but they at least, sold it well. So that was a plus. And then
yeah, these girls, just to finish off on that, they actually went out on their own and rented a band rehearsal studio in Kensington Market here in Toronto for a day, and they went and they learned, like they were playing along with the song and performing together as a group. So I love that they did that on their own without even asking if they could do it. They just did it because they wanted to do it. They wanted it to be believable. So
that is awesome. Do they still perform? Does Ms. 45 perform in Canada randomly?
I wish it got to that level, but we made this film in 18 days, and so they literally had like one day on camera of being a band, like a performing band. But we want to make sure that one day counted. So yeah.
18 days. That is a brutal schedule. That's
yeah. Yeah. Well, $1 million budget doesn't go too far,
Yeah, it seems like a lot, but yeah, once you start kind of breaking it down into actual cost, that is not very much in the film world.
Yeah, well, when you're building, big complex sets of, an auto wrecking yard arena and the props and the wardrobe, and yeah, it all, gets eaten up fairly quickly. But again, we spent our money wisely and efficiently, and it's intense when you're shooting a film like this, when you have little time, like you can't go back and do reshoots, you can't reschedule, but it like you're in the trenches, and it's fun, and it invigorates you, and it gives you like a certain kind of like drive and energy, and either you sink or swim during it, you know what I mean? And you learn a lot as a director working in that arena. So yeah, I wouldn't have had it any other way.
Working in that arena, the actual arena that you built for them to fight in.
Correct. Yeah. No pun intended. Yeah.
I'm just curious, what music was playing while you were filming this? Like, was there like heavy rock going on, or was it very quiet on set? Like, how did you kind of keep everyone motivated for those 18 days?
Great question. Well, there wasn't any need to keep them motivated because everyone was fully motivated. Everyone was there, like loving their job, and we had a lot of fun on set. But when it came time to me, like, because a lot of most of the four girls weren't familiar with like, female punk rock. And so I had them listen to like bands like, L7 or Brody Dahl, or even like the Runaways. Like I played them everything. I actually gave them like a set list to listen to kind of like just get into that mindset. But my personal favorite is Brody Dahl. Like she's fucking amazing. And her last album, if you've never heard it, gotta listen to it. It kicks ass. And so we played that one loud a lot to get us in the mood.
I imagine like the first punk show they go to, they're kind of like in the back listening, kind of taking in. The last one, they're just up in front, just pushing around, jumping, and maybe in a mosh pit. I don't know. Do mosh pits still exist in punk shows?
You're completely wrong there. We actually, the first time we all got together as a group, all 4 girls and I, we went out for a nice dinner and then walked down the street. We were on College Street here in Toronto, and we went to a punk rock bar, and there was a band playing, and they got right to the mosh pit, and they were jumping around and slamming back shots, and they got into it. They felt it, and they loved it.
That's how you know you did a good job casting, right? It's just perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it.
And so the band punk aspect was a huge part, but then the fighting was also a big part. How did they train? You said that they'd had fight and stunt experience. Was there any specific training? I mean, I guess you had to learn how to kind of wield a weapon without really being able to hold on to it. So that must have been kind of difficult as well. And I imagine they were probably light, but maybe bulky. What kind of training did they have to go through for that aspect of the film?
Yeah, we, about 2 months prior to shooting, we did, kind of put them through the ropes, as it were, like just kind of, they were all in shape, obviously, but we were training with them every day, getting them into shape, seeing what their physicality was. And our stunt team, we basically pre-visualized all the fight sequences, picking all our shots and our angles and, the various beats of each scene. And so our stunt team broke that down, filmed it, edited it together, and then we showed it to the girls. And so then they just basically had to learn the choreography of it. And so then that way, when we got to set, they knew exactly what they were doing. We knew exactly how we were going to shoot it, and that's how we were able to achieve it so quickly and efficiently. But there's actually one of the extras on the disc, on the Blu-ray release, is some of that fight training that they did, so you can kind of see them, going at it prior to actually, going at it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That must be fascinating to watch. And so they were definitely the stars, but then one happy surprise that I saw when I was watching it was Julian Richings, who was in one of my favorite horror films of last year, anything for Jackson.
Yes.
So how did he get involved in the project? He had a very, very specific, unique role that I loved him in.
Yeah, Julian is a legendary Canadian actor who's also based here in Toronto. And so when we were thinking of who, could we get for the role, his name was top of mind. And so I met with him one day over lunch, and we hit it off, and he dug the script, and I liked his take to the Emperor. Again, Julian is a true actor. He inhabits the role. He's not precious. He doesn't ask for changes. He doesn't do a lot of improvisation. Like he kind of in a way becomes that character, but not in a method way. Like when you say cut, you're talking to Julian again. You know what I mean? So he's just a real pleasure to have on set, and I definitely want to work with him again one day.
You didn't have to just smack him, be like, "Why are you addressing me, you peon?" Like something like that.
No, thankfully not.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I've never had a single experience working with somebody like that ever on set. I'd say Ryan, who played Driller, was the one guy who, just before he got we rolled the camera, he got into that mindset. But then once you yelled cut and he wasn't filming, the guy could sing opera like you would not believe. Like he had this voice of an angel, which was insane to hear, this voice coming out of a guy the size that he is.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
this operatic voice out of a linebacker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is that a special feature on the Blu-ray?
I wish, and now that you say it, it's like, fuck, I wish we had somebody had filmed him, because he would literally walk down the hall of the hotel where we were staying, and he would be singing, and you could hear him off in the distance. I wish we had recorded it.
Well, maybe for the sequel.
Yeah.
No spoilers. I'm not going to say spoilers. Yeah, maybe for the sequel.
Yeah.
So now I'd like to switch into, I call it the lightning round. It's just very lightweight questions that kind of relate to the film and the characters. I want to see how your experiences map onto the things that happen in the film. You can feel free to pass any of them, but I try to keep them very answerable.
Oof. All right, let's do it.
The first question is, do you have a sibling?
3 of them.
Do you fight with your siblings?
When I was younger, yes. Now that I'm older, no.
All right, that's good. What's the last time you got into a physical altercation?
Personally, I live in a somewhat rough area of Toronto.
Oh, wow.
And last time I almost got into a physical altercation was maybe 3 months ago. I was crossing a street with my dogs, and some asshole in a car was speeding along and narrowly hit me and my dogs, and I kicked his car as he went past. He slammed on the brakes. He came out, and I confronted him. Anyways, yeah, that was the closest I almost got into a fight.
You know, that seems like a very justified thing, and you had a
think
dog,
so too.
I don't think that was a smart move on his part. So,
well, they're small dogs, so they're not attack dogs by any means, but still, like, again, where I live, anyways, I won't get into it, but it was just he was definitely speeding and being very careless. So yeah.
Can you play an instrument?
The drums and the piano.
Excellent.
Yeah. I directed a music video years ago and said, man, I wish I knew how to play the drums. And I'm like, dude, you're not dead. Learn how to play the drums. And so I learned like 4 years ago. So
you have far more self-control than I do, because I wanted to learn how to play the guitar, and I learned how to play like 3 chords, and I was like, oh, I can't do this anymore. So good for you.
Sorry, I'm not making this much of a lightning round though, am I? Anyways.
No, this is fine. The more the merrier. Have you ever been in a band?
Never. Well, no.
Have you ever been to a junkyard to get a car part?
Yes, I have.
Oh, awesome. Very cool.
Yes.
So if you had to choose to lose an arm or a leg, which would you choose?
Oh man, that is a good question. I guess an arm, just because, getting around on 2 feet is more important to me than, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I would do leg. I mean, it's not a good choice either way, but I feel like a leg you can still retain some mobility even if it's difficult. But I feel like an arm is more difficult to kind of replace.
I love to travel. One of my I've been hiking through the rainforest of Australia, and I've hiked like mountains in Patagonia. So it would suck doing any of that on one leg. So that's why I'm picking an arm.
That makes sense. Have you ever used a chainsaw?
That was me cutting through the guy's face in the film.
Oh, excellent.
and that was a real chainsaw that I bought off of Craigslist, and bought it because it was like a small gas powered. It had the look I wanted. It had the sound I wanted. So I was wielding it when I was cutting through the face, and even all the chainsaw sound effects. I recorded those myself by, like moving it all around past the microphone. So revving the chain, everything. Yeah.
That's awesome. Real chainsaw and real person. It's strange how you're able to do that, but it's amazing. Also on Craigslist.
Yeah.
And so the last question is, if you had to choose a weapon, to replace on your arm, which weapon would you choose?
Out of the ones that are in the film?
Or you can make your own, but we can do the ones in the film or something similar.
I think the axe that had the nail gun built into it, you know what I mean? So not too heavy, not gas powered, because you'd choke on those fumes of that chainsaw after a while. But then at least you have like that nail gun to kind of keep them at bay, So. Yeah.
That's a good choice. I think that's probably the best of the options.
Yeah, I think so too.
And so the film comes out on VOD, digital, Blu-ray, and DVD on June 1st, 2021. After this film is out, I mean, I know you have a production company. So what's next for you? What can people look for coming out of you or your production company after this film comes out?
I'm in post right now of my 3rd feature film called Fight Machine. So I hope to have that kind of hitting the festival circuit later this year. And then as for Raven Banner, we have just wrapped up We have a film coming out called The Breach, which is based on a story by Nick Cutter, directed by Rodrigo Godino of Rue Morgue magazine. And we have a couple films that we just made for Shudder. I can't name them yet, but yeah, we got a lot of stuff happening right now. So yeah.
That's fantastic. That sounds very busy. So you weren't satisfied with just like an arm or a leg. You wanted the full machine to fight this time around.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, looking forward to that and all the other Ravens banner films coming out. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, David. This was fun. Thanks.
Bye. That was Andrew Thomas Hunt, the director of Spare Parts, which is releasing on VOD, digital, DVD, and Blu-ray on June 1st, 2021. It's a rocking gore fest with some great kills and some definite style. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot to make sure all my new interviews go straight to you. And as always, please go to watcherpass.com for all your movie reviews, interviews, and recommendations. Thank you.